I love it when it gets so quiet, right? Welcome to the February 22nd agenda, meeting. And before we start, we always start with a prayer. And today we're honored to have Minister Jim Witt with the Monterey Christian Church to lead us in prayer. Thank you.
Let's talk to God. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for being our Father. We recognize you as the sustainer and the creator of this universe. And when men and women come together like this, take care of business in Clermont County, we ask that you'll be with each one as they make decisions and they're made for the good of the people. Realize that you want all your children to have good things. And sometimes it seems like you're not even there, but we know you'll be there. You've always been there and you always will be there. So we ask a blessing on this meeting. Keep safety in this building, that no one will come and harm anyone at any time, and that the people going home this day will be of safe travel and all the things work out for the better of your kingdom in this world. For we pray Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. And thanks for not bringing the snow and ice this time.
Yeah, well,
right?
Didn't have it last time either.
Commissioner Corcoran, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Yes.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is the approval of the regular session minutes of February 15th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item C is public participation. Not seeing anyone. We're going to move item H up now. We have a couple recognitions today, and we have some certificates to present. Ladies, you want to join me up here? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Pretty in pink. And you're Margaret.
I'm Margaret.
Margaret, this is a certificate of recognition, and this is being presented to you today. Receiving the Marilyn R. Spiegel Excellence Award in Family and Consumer Science and Extension Education at the Ohio State University Extension Annual Conference. So congratulations. It is signed by all three commissioners, Commissioner Painter, Commissioner Corcoran, and myself.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Deborah. And this is the Ohio State University Master Gardener. I'll take you to my house. Volunteer Coordinator of the Year. And again, it is signed by all three commissioners. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you want something to say today? You have the floor.
Well, she should have said, "Where's my certificate?" Right?
No.
I'm just here in support of two of our excellent extension employees that we have. Margaret is the top FCS, Family Consumer Science Educator in the state this year with the Marilyn R. Spiegel Award. And Deb leads our Master Gardener program as a volunteer coordinator who assists me. And if it wasn't for her and for the Master Gardener program, going out into the community to work with those horticulture programs, that would be a lot of extra teaching that I would have on top of my current teaching. But we do appreciate the commissioners and the county on behalf of the Clermont County Extension and everything you do to support us in our programming of work, where we work with agriculture and natural resources, 4-H youth development, and family consumer sciences, as well as horticulture. Thank you. Thank you.
David, you have a camera? And they brought some flyers, and we'll put
Awesome.
these on the table out there so that people can,
Thank you.
we always have to take pictures.
As it should be. Absolutely. And Gigi grows the items, but we put them into practice. Gigi's the,
Oh,
bag.
I know.
Okay, so we got a team going here.
Okay,
Okay, everybody smile.
Are we going
enough? All right. I'll open it up.
Oh, wait a minute,
Oh,
David.
yeah, we gotta get this right now. A lot of work.
All right, everyone look here, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1.
Where's the flash?
We don't need one. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for all the brochure. Thank you. Thank you for supporting healthy people, healthy finances. Yeah, we'll get that next thing going.
All right.
Thank you, for sharing what, in Washington. Thank you. Thank you.
More than welcome. You guys do great work, for sure.
Okay, moving on to item D is consent agenda. Board, you've had this in time to review. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioners, before you go on with your consent agenda or non-consent agenda, Mr. Grabowski is here to discuss the juvenile court project as required by the ORC for the committee. He would like to present to you a change order request. And if the board is so inclined to move forward, then we can prepare that for later in the meeting. But I'd like Mr. Grabowski to come up and go ahead with the change order request before we move on.
Okay.
If that's okay with the board.
I work. Whatever you say.
Okay.
Whatever you say, Greg. This is a recommendation to execute a change order number 5 to the contract by between the Clermont County Board of County Commissioners and Michael Schuster Associates out of Cincinnati, Ohio, for the provision of architectural and engineering services relative to the Clermont County Juvenile Court Facility Expansion and Remodel Project, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 8/2/17 and subsequently amended on 5/9/18, 12/18/19, and 12/29/21, which represents an increase in the amount of $8,100 for additional design services relative to the bench redesigns for a total adjusted contract price to date of $457,100, contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
And this is not an agenda item as of yet, but if the board needs to make its intention known on the change order request, and if the board does vote in the affirmative, along with the other committee members, I think Wade, I don't have the vote, but you may have it.
I do.
If it is passing affirmative, we will have an add-on to modify that contract. So this is an individual vote based on the addition of the modification of the benches.
So you're asking that to be added on to the agenda right now?
Well, the first thing is we need the individual board members to vote just to make sure we have enough votes to move this particular change order forward.
So floor is open for questions. Change order 5, obviously, what I understand the conversation that's happened before is that it's about extending the size of the benches in the courtrooms.
Is correct.
And with that, although that's not very substantial, there is a substantial ramification due to schedule because of the delays in this decision and because of getting the shop drawings redrawn and then getting them into queue for the manufacturer. Talk about that schedule, because that's not been part of this particular conversation yet.
No, and you are absolutely correct. The $8,100 is the redesign of the benches itself to increase the size in a capacity that now seems to be functional with the judge's itinerary. However, we did take the liberty of pre-discussing this with the contractor. You could see a $50,000 increase in the actual manufacturing of the bench changes, the redesign. But along with that, there is over a $100-day delay, which if you put dollars to that is over $100,000. And that's because of the delay. It's a 5-month delay to redesign those benches and get them, into the shop drawings, back to the manufacturer, back to the people that are going to make them.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes,
couple
ma'am.
Questions for you, if this is the time to do the questioning. Okay, first of all, are the benches already made?
No.
They are not.
They are not made.
Okay, but it's just a redesign.
The redesign of what the benches
Yes.
were to what they desire them to be.
And how many inches are we talking about expansion on those? We're talking about,
Most of what we were talking about is the actual depth.
Okay.
The length is minimal except for the clerk's area in the
Okay.
main trial courtroom. That would be extended by about 2 feet 6 inches.
okay.
But go ahead.
Go ahead.
But most every other change would be in the depth, the amount of work surface you have away from you.
Is there any way, I don't know if you have the capability in your shops, but is there any way if we go ahead with the design the way it is now and just did like one of those fold down add-ons across the benches and for the width, it'd be a lot cheaper if we did it and instead of redesigning, holding us out now for a 100-day delay, the cost of all that? Has anyone even looked into that?
We have people, woodworking people that we deal with every day.
Okay.
One of the best is American Woodworking down on Round Bottom Road. Bob Flake, he's actually doing a job for us to redo the pews at Municipal Court.
Okay.
There are woodworkers. We have the Hearst brothers who are working now currently at Common Pleas. Anything is possible as far as that, but you have to have the things in place to do this. The issue that we have here is that the courtrooms have shrunken. I don't know that really people remember or realize this, but if the original design was 4 courtrooms, we added a 5th, which condensed everything down. So therefore, everything got condensed down because there was just no space. There is a little room for an increased size, but not a lot. Not a lot.
But this was already reviewed and approved,
Correct.
and then now we have change. But I'm just wondering if we shouldn't go ahead and, my idea would be go ahead and go with what has already been designed and figure out how, if needed, that we can add on the extra width for,
I believe that, with the design that's already there, if the committee decides to go with the redesign, they could also, because we need the shop drawings, we also need an architect,
Yeah.
okay? But anybody in the woodworking business can look at something like this bench here, and they can either add on or they can amend it or they can, alter it or change it. Wood is very, very easy to work with, as you probably know if anybody's ever tinkered on antique furniture or anything like that. It's an art form and it's a dying art form, but it can be done.
and it'd be a lot cheaper than holding out and worrying about.
The 100+ days is a bother to me because I don't believe that anybody should hold it up. Commissioner Painter, you and I have talked, about the delay schedules and things like that. My recommendation at that point to the committee would be, if the job is going to stop for 104 days, then go away, go do something else. I'll call you back in 100 days. I mean, that's not necessarily the right thing to do because I always feel that there's something that can be done. This project is not going to dead halt. But you have to take into consideration that the way the contracts are written, they have every opportunity to have a loss of time claim.
And why are we just now seeing this? Because those plans have been there for how many years?
18 or what was it?
The original plan started in 2017. We bid it just prior to the COVID. We were 22% over budget. We made some cuts, we made some revisions, and then we went out to bid again in December of 21 and awarded on February the 7th is when we gave them their notice to proceed of 2022. The plans have been there, and it's not to say that everything is 100% because there are changes that do get made, but they should be minimal. Right now, I think I mentioned it yesterday or it's at previous time, we're almost at 5% of our contingency. 10% is the max. But my track record over 30 years and 23 buildings is under 3%. So this is it's really bothered me. There's been a combination of issues here. I won't go into them in detail, but it's just been across the board, just one of those projects that has been an issue.
And just to talk about that for a second, this particular issue, although there could be delay associated with it, the delay really comes in the fact that the original schedule that this contractor bid, this project should have been finished.
February the 7th of 2023.
Okay.
365 days from the initial.
Should have been finished right now. So when a contractor bids it, he takes a bite at what the cost is and what the schedule is, and then he puts direct overhead associated with that schedule, that duration.
Yes.
The trouble with that is the duration is extended.
Absolutely.
So every day that he works now is technically a schedule impact.
Delay for them.
Now it just comes down to what schedule impacts are actually critical path and what schedule impacts aren't.
Right.
I mean, a contract like this that runs over its original duration, a lot of times at the very end of the contract ends up in a large change order that says, okay, now that I've been able to assess all of the changes on this project and what the total overall impact is, then here's my here's my final change order of what this cost me in direct overhead.
That is correct.
And that's easily verifiable because you can go back to the original bid and
Look at it.
you know what somebody had in it for the day. So I just want to make sure this redesign isn't much. This is an $8,000 redesign. And then to finish the furniture is another, how much? If that
50,000.
could be another 50,000.
Up to, yes.
So really to get all this furniture right, we're talking about $70,000 or under. Not that that's a small amount. That's a large amount of money. But the real money comes into this project in the overall delay. Yeah.
Extension of that.
Yeah.
Correct. And then it's our responsibility for the committee and the board to go back to the architect and engineer on the issues that we have and try to recoup some of our money, which we did just yesterday. So in the last set of change orders that we're through, I think it was $28,000. We hope to get a portion of that back. And then the previous one, which was a $70,000 or $80,000 change order, we hope to get the majority of that back. So
my feeling on this would be, I would be a yes on this and to move forward and do it as diligently as possible and as fast as possible. Let's jump in here, all work together, and let's get this project done as quick as we can, because the quicker we can finish it, the less delay costs are going to be
that is
associated.
correct.
I mean,
That is correct.
that's just how it is.
And of course, if the board so approves, we have our engineer who's waiting in the wing for his project to go on forward. So does the board are you pleased to vote then at this point?
That'd be an individual vote.
Mhm.
Gail wants to call the roll on this change order request.
And this is a committee vote,
This is a
Yes.
committee vote, correct?
the actual committee vote. Okay,
This is the change order committee vote,
okay,
which has 4 other members
yes.
other than us. Okay.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
No.
So I believe that is enough affirmative votes. We will have a change order to add onto the agenda at that particular part of the
Just anyway.
thank you, sir.
very much. So that will come back as an add-on.
Yeah, I have the add-on prepared once we get to that stage. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wade.
Okay, what?
Ready to go on.
We can move on then.
Non-consent.
Non-consent. On page 4. Item number 9 is the recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 026-23, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $384,032.17 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated February 22nd, 2023, BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and/or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor February 21st, 2023, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item 10, Jim?
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Jim Maloney, the Administrator for the Clermont County Sheriff's Office. Recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the subgrant award agreement for subgrant number 2022-JG-A01-6250 from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Office of Criminal Justice Services, for funding from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, JAG, through the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance, Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, for the project entitled Clermont County Narcotics Task Force in the amount of $61,478.47 with a required cash match in the amount of $20,492.82 to be allocated from the 2023 annual appropriations for the county sheriff, the implementing agency, in compliance with the terms and conditions with the grant application filed electronically by the by the county sheriff on or about June 13th, 2022, and the pre-award conditions ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on January 18th, 2023. That's when I was here last, when we got the pre-award. Now this is the award that we need voted upon.
Would you for the reading of item number 10? Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
You still here?
Good morning.
Good morning, Kennedy.
Item number 11 is a recommendation to execute the following subrecipient grant agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and the following political subdivisions for the funding in concert with the Clermont County Community Development Block Grant Program as outlined below, in compliance with the terms and conditions, and further understood that the subrecipient agreements will supersede all prior administrative agreements previously signed for these projects by the Board of County Commissioners and the political subdivisions. And the four projects, CDBG projects, are the Shiloh Lock 34 Playground, the Batavia Township Amelia Village Maintenance Facility, the Jim Trail Park Canoe Kayak Launch, and the Playground Resurfacing Project in Washington Township.
Thanks, Kennedy.
Mhm.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Kennedy, would you know, and you can say, it's okay, I don't know, when these monies will actually be available to these entities?
Once we have the environmental reviews finished, which we should have, I think we're actually have that contracted to be done. So once the environmentals are finished and these contracts are signed, they should be able to start. So we're just waiting on the environmentals to be done. And then, yeah, the money has to be spent by 2023 for most of these because they're coronavirus funds. So kind of on the time burner. So
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Kennedy. Hi, Jeremy.
Good morning. Item 12 is a recommendation to award the bid for project number GO 0321 relative to the Goshen Road Bridge replacement. That's C57-4.97 located in Goshen Township pursuant to the plans and specifications to Snese's Construction on Crescentville Road in Cincinnati. And the best bid received on January 19th, 23 in the amount of $737,512.41, and to execute the contract number GO 0321 in compliance with the terms and conditions.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Item 13 is recommendation to accept the storm sewer easement granted and assigned to the County of Clermont, Ohio, as it relates to the Miami Trail Stormwater District and Miami Township, heretofore established and created as set forth in resolution number 144-15, adopted by the Board of County Commissioners on 9/16/2015, and to authorize payment as compensation for the grant and assignment of storm sewer easement granted here. I will note that the easement has been donated on this one.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thanks, Jeremy. Morning, Lyle.
Item 14 is a recommendation to accept the following grant of sewer easement with rights of reentry for repair and replacement that will be granted and conveyed to Clermont County by the grantors as outlined below for utility purposes. And this is for project number 6402-60161 for the Deerfield Road Sewer Petition Project located in Goshen Township, and to authorize the county auditor to permit payment as compensation for the permanent easement and right-of-way. The grantors are Larry and Georgia Toombs for property at 6022 Deerfield Road.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll
This is-
call. Oh, I'm sorry, Claire.
Is this, how are we on numbers of getting all
I'm
these?
sorry, this is, makes 6 of 9 easements.
6 of 9?
Yep.
And I'll ask you another question after we finish voting, an update on water.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Okay, so you want an update, let me guess, on the Ohio River and
Good guess.
chemical issue that was coming down the river. So what Orsanco, the Ohio River Sanitation Commission, was monitoring as the chemical plume migrated downriver, I guess the biggest toxin of concern that they had detected was butyl acrylate. So they had last detected that near Racine, Ohio, which is upstream of Gallipolis, Ohio, and that was detected at 1.44 parts per billion. That's about 216 river miles upstream from our well fields. That was their last detection. They can detect down to 1 part per billion. So there was no detections, and they were monitoring for, let's see, that was butyl acrylate. They were also monitoring for vinyl chloride, which they had no detections, and ethyl hexanol, and they had no detections on that as well. And then they just had a generic list of other VOCs, and they had no detections, or they were less than detection, I should say, for all of those concerns. The Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, they did provide some numbers that are health guidance values for human exposure. So butyl acrylate, again, the last time they detected it was at 1.44 parts per billion. The level established by the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry is 560 parts per billion. For ethyl hexanol, they've established a limit of 200 parts per billion, and ethyl hexyl acrylate 500 parts per billion. So they're not detecting any of it, and the limits where they did have detections were well below those guidance numbers that they've provided.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, just for clarification, just for people that might watch this, tell them what VOC stands for.
Volatile organic compounds.
And then just give a little about how volatile organic compounds, once they're exposed to air and water, how those react. And
I'm not a chemist, so
I mean, when they go away. And
they'll oxidize and they will break apart and disappear.
And then when you talked about those limits for exposure, were those limits based on a time-weighted average?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's actually a new agency that we had to familiarize ourselves with that as well. I'm not too sure. I think it was based on they used animals for testing as well to help determine that. But as far as how they establish those limits, I'm not 100% certain.
No, I just wanted to point out NIOSH, when they establish them, it's usually for an 8-hour time-weighted, average. So there are, averages for that too. So
I can find out and see, but I'm not 100% certain. We did shut down 4 wells during that period, February 18th through 21st. A lot of that was due to the river. So we had the concerns with the chemicals passing, and we also had the river rising as well. So we shut down wells where the river started to come up near the wells.
So everything, as far as you know now, us and the city of Cincinnati are all open.
Yes, the city did. I did read a little bit about what they did. They did shut down their intake. Again, they draw water directly from the river. We're pulling water from well fields, so it's completely different. The biggest concern has always been with the raw water intakes for the city of Louisville and city of Cincinnati.
and if these particular contaminants were to leach, would our analytical process that we use for our water production pick these up?
These particular compounds, probably not. We are going to sample once a week for the next month our raw water for these compounds, but it's just going to be whether it's detected or not. We're not going to get concentrations. If we they didn't detect it in the river itself. We have no reason to believe we're going to detect it at all in our well field, but that's just a precautionary measure.
I think that's a great path forward.
Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
all your work.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Lyle. Okay, moving on, item 15, Greg.
This is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a letter of notice not to renew the Patricia Boulevard Tower Lease Site number 273817, contract number 379112 with American Tower Corporation. Now, this is, if you recall, we just commissioned our Goshen Tower, and so this is us canceling our lease on the Patricia Lane Tower, which was just down the road.
Do I have a motion to approve item number 15?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning.
Jeanette Nichols, excuse me, here with, from the prosecutor's office with item number 16. It is the recommendation of Daniel B. Starsman III, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Igel, County Administrator, to adopt Resolution 027-23, resolving to adopt the updated Clermont County Memorandum of Understanding concerning child abuse, neglect, and dependency investigations pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 2151.4220, and approving the said Memorandum of Understanding in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 2151.4225.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I was second.
Any discussion?
Counselor, this was approved in May 22, correct?
This-
55.4225.
This was approved, I don't think it was May, it was September
September.
of
Okay.
last year.
All right, good.
And what happens is,
By the time we,
yeah, once the board approves it, it goes up to the state. The state then has to approve it. They came back with 2 very minor changes. So we had to go through the process again. So we have everybody signed off. We now need the approval to send it
great.
back up
Thank
to
you
the
very
state.
much. Thank you.
This is a memorandum of understanding that's been kind of outstanding for quite some time prior to that September date. Was that correct?
That is my understanding.
Thank you.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you.
Good job.
Item F, additions to the agenda.
So we do have an addition, but we also have an item on the table from last week. I'd like the board's consideration to bring it off the table for discussion. It was item number 18, Facilities Management Department requests to advertise for bids for the construction of engineer facilities.
Okay, we need a motion to bring it off the table.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
You forgot my name. Yes.
I just had to
Whoever you
swallow
are.
for a minute.
Okay.
Let me ask a question before we proceed here. We just removed the original amendment, the original resolution back onto the table. Is the amendment going to be, is that amendment going to be amended?
Correct. So I'm going to ask for an amended motion on that, which is brought back off the table.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, board, if you recall, we had certain dates specified for the legal advertisement. We also had a certain title for facility. I would like to amend the motion as follows. This is a request to advertise for bids for the construction of the Filliger Campus Improvement Phase 1 with the following dates. Legal notice placed on the paper on March 2nd, 2023. Pre-bid meeting on Thursday, March 16th, 2023 at 10 a.m. local time. And that is a mandatory pre-bid meeting at the Engineer Sign Shop 4007 Filliger Road. And then finally, bids will be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, April 20th, 2023 here at the Board of County Commissioners Office, where they will be read aloud. All this information will be posted in the paper as well as the county's website. So I would like that to be the amended motion.
So move.
Thank you,
Second.
Dave.
Commissioner Painter,
Before you vote, this particular phase one, all the work that's associated with phase one is actually across the street from the sheriff's office. Is that right? Is it
I
along
think,
that?
yeah, 99% of it. There's some telecommunications work that happens on the other side. That's to get the facilities over across the street. That's correct.
Okay. Just wanted to point that out. Okay.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Anything else, Greg?
So I do have one add-on for your consideration based on today's committee vote. That was, Wade, I believe that was in the affirmative to move that forward to the county commissioners to put the change order on. So I have, in addition to the agenda for change order number 5 to the contract with Michael Schuster Associates, AKA MSA Design, as it relates to the design of the Clermont County Juvenile Court Facility and Expansion Remodel Project.
So we need to vote to add this.
That's
on.
the agenda, correct?
Could I have a motion to put this on the agenda?
I'll make the motion to put it on.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yep.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much. Recommendation to execute change order number 5 to the contract by and between the Clermont County Board of County Commissioners and Michael Schuster Associates out of Cincinnati for the provision of architectural and engineering services relative to the Clermont County Juvenile Court Facility and Expansion and Remodel Project, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 8/2/17, subsequently amended on 5/9/18, 12/18/19, and 12/29/21, which represents an increase in the amount of $8,100 for additional design services relative to the bench redesign for a total contract adjusted price to date of $457,100 contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of this add-on. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No more add-ons, right?
I'm done.
You're done. You're done for.
Now it's the whole book of executive.
That's right.
Okay. Now we have item G, which is a book to read to go into executive session. Pursuant to section 12122, G1 and G8 of the Ohio Revised Code, to consider the employment, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or more public employees, and 2, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance in connection with the relocation, location, expansion, improvement, or preservation of the business of such entity pursuant to section 1724.11B of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I will second.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Told you it was a book. We shall return. We have returned from executive session. No decisions or actions were taken. It's time for me to reread my book. The reason we went into executive session, it was pursuant to section 121.22 G1 and G8 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or more public employees, and to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiate with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance in connection with the relocation, location, expansion, improvement, or preservation of the business of such entity pursuant to section 1724.11B of the Ohio Revised Code. And a book. Okay. At this time, I believe we have another add-on, sir.
Do I have one add-on for your consideration as a personnel action?
Okay, can I have a motion to add this to the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Okay,
This item is for the Clermont Transportation Connection. It is for Carl DeCamp. It is, he's a vehicle operator with a voluntary demotion effective 2/27/23.
Okay.
This is taking him back to a driver because he requested that.
Okay.
So people know that he was not demoted.
we didn't demote.
We did not
He
demote him. He
requested
requested
this.
And he's currently a dispatcher.
He is currently a dispatcher and a supervisor. So
Okay.
he was eventually promoted, and I think he would like to go back to doing what he likes best.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Okay. Item I, if there's no further business, I'll go to item I. Member comments?
Any?
Nothing?
Nothing, thank you.
No.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, we will see you next week. Thank you.